what's going on, everybody? We are back with the MCU After Show stuff, and we are talking about Moonknight tonight, and Moonknight is just this awesome, awesome show. I am so excited that Disney Plus decided to do this, and Marvel decided to do this. And on the panel, as always, we have Paris.
Yo, what's going on? Moonknight, episode 1, awesomeness. I don't know where he fits on this periodic table of Marvel, but he's gonna fit somewhere now.
Yeah, he's somewhere in that universe, right?
Yes.
And then we have Celebrity Paul. What's going on, Paul?
Oh, thank you for not using the other name. Okay, thank you very much for that. Yeah, I'm sure that'll come up later. Hey, everybody, how you doing? I'm looking forward to talking about this. I really enjoyed this show. I really did. So, looking forward to more.
Absolutely. So, a little bit of fun fact, and I always butcher names, so forgive me, anybody watching this, if I butcher the name, so I apologize in advance. But I have a little story. The writer, Doug Moench, Moench, anyway, I met him at United Artists, Oxford Valley Mall, and I had a full wagon of comics for him to sign. And it took him about 2 hours to sign them. And he signed everyone happily. His arm hurt afterwards, but he's a very nice guy. And the fact that he was involved in the creation of Moonknight has me super excited because I didn't even know that till I looked up some info on Moonknight. So, Doug, I know you're out there. You probably remember some little kid with a red wagon full of comics and Pennsylvania that showed up at United Artists Oxford Valley. And you probably are still mumbling about it to this day, how long it took to find all those comics. So, thank you.
Because somebody made him an offer he couldn't refuse. So, yeah.
So, I just want to say, though, I think that in the first episode so far that we've seen, there is going to be some spoilers here. So, if you haven't seen it, you may want to pause this and watch it and then come back. But anyway, in the first episode, I think it's really cool that he starts off like in a gift shop. And then he has some memory loss, doesn't know what's happening, wakes up with this scarab, and all of a sudden, this Egyptian cultist and all this paranormal kind of stuff with doing with the Egyptian gods is like after him. And he has no clue what's going on except for a voice in his head. And it's just, it's fantastic. It's fantastic. Paul.
You want to go ahead, Paris? Throw something in there?
Oh,
you look like you're raring to go.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking about it. It was just replaying in my head when he woke up with a thing in his hand and he was like, "Hi," and the other guy waved back at him. He was like, "What?" He waved back at him. The other guy comes out with a gun. He was like, "What are you doing? Shoot!" And they start shooting at him.
Yeah. I also like the fact that the way he wakes up and he has to unchain himself and he has all this stuff set up to see if he's gotten up in the night and, it looks like he hasn't, but guess what? Yeah,
he did, yeah. That's crazy because he thought he was going on a date.
Yeah. And he was like, "What? Did I ask her out? What's going on?" In the gift shop. The girl that was hitting on him. And it's just crazy to me the way that the character is so unique. Like, he wakes up like 2 days later and he's in the middle of, he doesn't know how he got there, and he's waving to people, up, and they're trying to shoot him like a second later. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of crazy. Paris, what do you think?
Yeah, what's funny is that the Steven side of the house, when he goes into work and he talks to the guy at the beginning at the checkout, the security guard, and he calls him all these different names. I wonder if that's just Mark messing with him, because Mark definitely has to know about the place where he works at, because he asked the girl out on a date and Steven didn't even know. So right, so he's been there before, so he knows what's going on at the museum, right? So I'm like, okay, so now I'm starting to put two together. I'm like, okay, so Mark has definitely been there. And then the whole fish thing with the fin, traded out the fish, and Steven liked the fish and he started freaking out because the fin grew back. And the lady was like, she was like, "You were in here yesterday and swapped it." And he was like, "No, I wasn't." She like blew it off, like, "Yeah, right, like, don't be an idiot," sort of thing. So it's just like the whole split personality thing with Steven is pretty cool. I like how they started off with Steven, because a lot of people don't know, spoiler alert, that Mark Spector is actually the main personality for Moonknight. It's not
Yeah.
all the other ones. So we'll see how this sort of morphs throughout the entire season. But I like how they started off with Steven and his quirkiness, and him trying to figure out his life and doesn't know anything about what's going on, and then he finds the phone and stuff like that. So man, it's just crazy. Paul, what did you think about when he found that phone? Like, when he found it in the cupboard, and he was just
I thought the fact that it was hidden away, and all of a sudden he starts realizing that, okay, the table's been moved and I have to, and he'd never noticed any of that before, because that's probably been going on for quite a while from what we can tell.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he knew something was upcoming because he was training himself to bed, thinking he was basically sleepwalking, because he points out that for months he's been, waking up in places where he has no idea how he got there,
Right.
So I think when I think he'd already started hearing the voice in his head at the point that he found the phone and the key. And so I'm sure he's at that point going, okay, something's going on. And he thought he was going crazy, because when he hears the voice, to him, it doesn't seem like it's inside his head. He's actually looking around for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I found they did that really well. I like the way they really made his character, you cared about his character, because his character was scared, and he played that well. That he didn't understand what was going on. He was trying to deal with it the best he knew how. At the same time, he was absolutely clueless, But then once things started to open up, like I love F. Murray Abraham, and I don't know the name of the character, the main, the one that we haven't seen yet, we may not see, the main voice going, "The idiot's awake again," when they're trying to deal with stuff, because Mark is the one he needs to survive, to do all the fighting, but he doesn't understand that at that point. So he's just trying to figure out, where's this voice coming from, and what do you mean I have to give you control? What does that mean? Yeah, I absolutely enjoyed it.
It's awesome.
Yeah,
Carla, what did you think about the? Hold on, sorry about that. But I was just going to ask you a question about, what did you think about the voice, and when the voice was like, threatened both Mark and Steven? You need to take over, bro. I'll kill you both, right?
Yes. I thought that was kind of great. I think the way that they wrote the voices into the show is fantastic, and it kind of gives you an overall idea of what he's dealing with in his own mind, right? Because you have some of the voices, like the one voice is like, "Oh, great, the idiot's back." It's like, and Steven's like, what? What are you talking about? The idiot's back, and then the scene where he's driving, right, and that big chase scene when the cult is like after him, and he hears the voices, and the voice is like, "Grab the gun," and he loses the gun. He's like, "Oh, great," It's just, man, the writing.
Oh yeah, that was the. Did you just throw the gun?
And then he has to let the other
Mark. You have to let Mark
take over, and he's like, he just doesn't know what happens. Like, it's like a pure blackout moment, and the way that they directed that and filmed that and acted that, you really could see that Steven has no clue what the heck's going on. He's just so confused when he comes to. It's phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
They actually did that. I like the way they did the cuts. We were basically, at least at first, we were in Steven's point of view, because they would cut away and they would cut back and there would be blood and dead people. So we didn't see what happened either, just like he would have experienced. So they didn't give anything away. I like that was very creative and the right way to do that, to me.
Yeah, he wakes up, he's all surprised. He's like, I didn't do this.
And I love when he's trying to hand over when he's willing to hand over the scarab, and Mark keeps taking over. And,
yeah, he's like,
don't give that to him. He's like, it's not me. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting how it all plays out. Like as we're starting to gain more information, basically, when he's talking on the phone, like he's talking to his mom, which I firmly believe he's not talking to his mom at all, talking to someone else, which probably is Mark or someone, because he's filling him in on what's going on in his life. He's filling his mom in, who he thinks is what's going on in his life. So whoever's getting these recordings is letting the Mark side of the house know what's going on, right? That's just my theory on it. I don't know. Do you guys think he's talking to his mom, or is it someone else?
I think it could be his mom. I think, that he just touches base with her because he was very clear. You'll notice he always steered away from what was really going on. Things are going great. The date went great, and we know the date didn't go great.
Yeah.
And so I think he doesn't want whoever he's speaking to, be it his mom or whoever, to know how confused and how bad it really is for him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom, I haven't talked to you for 3 days, but I only thought it was yesterday. He's not going to go there.
Right.
Probably because he's afraid they're going to throw him in a loony bin at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, and we haven't talked about it all, but the opening sequence of that episode with the guy putting the shoes on and all that, and that was dark. That was that lets you know right away where this show was going to go and why they said, hey, this is going to be an adult Marvel show. This is not going to be a show for kids.
Yeah.
So yeah, but yeah, I was watching that and my jaw dropped. I'm like, this is uncomfortable. Even this hurts for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're probably going to do an episode on him explaining sort of like what he's doing and how he got whatever powers he has. Because I don't know if it's some sort of the weapon that he has that caused that woman, drained her, I don't know, killed her, pruned her, basically.
Yeah.
Not pruned her from Loki pruned her, but like totally drained her life spirit out of her, and she and stuff. So and turned purple. So I don't know if it's whatever that thing is. Maybe it's a weapon that he picked up, and the whole thing.
Well, it looks like I was going to say it looks like it ties into the tattoo on his arm because in his head he's administering justice. The scales of justice have weighed either for you or against you.
Yeah.
And when he did that to Mark or what the other name? Steven. Steven. And he knew that something was off. Something was different. So he knew that this wasn't normal because he knew he should have been able to kill Steven right there, but he drew back really quick.
Yeah.
Because he knew something didn't feel right.
Right. It wouldn't line up. It just kept going back and forth. Right.
Yep.
So it's like you got chaos in you.
Yep.
So
yeah.
One thing I was going to say that I think is a possibility here. So you asked about who he could possibly be calling, and I noticed the show has a very strong Egyptian theme with Egyptian gods and potential things like that and paranormal. So what if he is entranced? Stephen is entranced by some Egyptian goddess.
Could be.
Yeah.
Who knows, right? That's the beauty of it. Like we don't know. Everybody throws their theories out there, so it's like it's cool to hear them. That no theory right now is a bad theory because we don't know.
I'm hoping, and it looks like they've set us up to that he's going to be asking Steven, what's going on, and so we're going to get a little bit of a backstory of how this all started, be it months ago or a year ago or whatever it is. Because, did he go on a trip to it? Because he worked for a museum. Yes, he was just in the gift shop, but still. So did he pick something up? Was he exposed to something? I'm sure that hopefully they'll explain it because right now it just seems,
It'll be interesting to see how far the show deviates from the actual comics on how he came with those multiple personalities. Because Mark Spector was a CIA agent. He also joined a terrorist group and was left for dead by the leader of that group.
According to my roommate, one of the personalities was a taxi driver, which is how he got some of his information.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see because I said before the show, I have not read any of the comic books. I have nothing to go off of except for what's in the show. And I as that person who knows really nothing about the character, I'm enjoying what they're doing with the show.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well,
cool. Go ahead, Carl.
Paris, I was just gonna say, what were you talking about just now?
Oh, I was just gonna talk about sort of like how he in the comics, like if you just go to Marvel.com and go to characters and then just type in the character like Moonknight and then just go to End Comics profile, they just flat out give you synopsis of the character, like where they're born, how they started, how they got their powers on every character that they have a list on, and they have Mark Spector stuff in there for Moonknight. So it's gonna be interesting to see how far Marvel Studios deviates from the comics, because everything is not the same, as they're not line for line as the comics were, right? So, which is cool. Like it gives it its own personality. It's different. There's some things in the comics that you just can't replicate on screen. Everybody, of course, if everybody was in the comics and they transferred everything into the shows or the movies, everybody would be OP, right? They'd be overpowered. In the comics, they needed like 100 superheroes to stop Thanos' army. Right? In the movies, they had like 30, right? So, and he just tore through them all, right? So, I think as far as the show goes, it's gonna be interesting. I think they're gonna tie in some of that stuff, but I think they're gonna go back to where he was like probably left for dead there, and that's how he became, got the spirits of the Egyptian spirits to do something. And he's just I wouldn't say a pawn, but being utilized to.
He's a vessel. The vessel
to take care of the stuff that they're trying to do, maybe to stop this evil goddess that's trying to break out, and she's using the other guy to do it. A whole bunch of other stuff. So it's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Yep. And according to my friend, he's actually had multiple iterations of his origin story throughout the years in Marvel. Yeah. At one point, he said he was basically almost like a Bruce Wayne at one point, and then they steered away from that, and they almost diametrically went opposite. Where Bruce is dark as Batman, this guy is wearing all white because he wants you to see him coming. He wants you to be afraid of that him coming at you. So and he pulled that off really well.
Yeah, a lot of people like to tie it into Batman. I'm one of the opposite. Like Moonknight, it's its own. He's his own dude. And I like how Marvel is doing it. So they just basically tell you, this guy's got multiple personalities. He is
I'm just saying that. No, I'm just saying though, if you go by the comics, there was a phase in there where he was a rich guy,
Or was that one of the personalities to pretend he was a rich guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point.
The personality isn't necessarily pretending either. He may, true multiple personality. They're not pretending. They just are, So it's going to be interesting to see what they do for the show and how many different personalities they pull out,
Right.
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to say that for the people that watch this, one of the most interesting scenes to me was the car chase scene. I think that they did a fantastic job filming that scene in general. The way the logs just fell over, and this kind of shows that a lot of people had concerns, right, with Disney and Marvel watering down some of their stuff on the Disney Plus service. But I think this will show people that Disney and Marvel's ready to show what their characters are about. Like, they're not afraid to let it out there a little bit, and I think this does it perfectly well. And I could eventually see Punisher going to the service too. I think this is an awesome thing for Marvel on Disney Plus, and I'm excited for the future of the series, man. I am so excited. The acting was great. Oh man, I just love this so much. I just love it.
Yeah, it's gonna be good because they can go any direction with it, right?
I thought Punisher did go to the service.
It is,
but
like a new Punisher series.
Oh yeah,
like if they were to come back, So
I hope it does.
Once the Netflix shows went over to Disney Plus, you got the whole security thing to set your adult things, which is good. I like that they did that, and I think they should. So there should be no excuses. Well, I would say no excuses, but no reason for them not to be able to get a little grittier on when it comes to their characters and the shows and stuff like that. You don't have to go full out sort of chopping people's heads off, and we don't need to see all that, but you know what I mean? Just to set the stage of what you would be expecting. DC on the other hand, the Peacemaker.
I mean,
right? So,
Peacemaker and the more recent The more recent movie they did where they introduced him, that was
Yeah.
that was bloody. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's I was reading some articles about the show and different writers' takes on their opinions of this, and they think that this could potentially be a Moon Knight variant for the Marvel Universe.
Another variant. Oh man, no more variants.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I'm a little excited about that because you just think about the whole potential of variants and all these different things. Oh, it's so good, Paris, so good.
Yeah, Loki. Like they still have to close the book on that. Kang. After Moon Knight, was it Miss Marvel's next, and then
Yep.
She-Hulk, and Secret Wars, Armor Wars, and all that stuff. So it's going to be interesting for sure. And then how they tie it into the movies. We should be getting a Thor 4 trailer here soon. They just announced today that they're doing the press tour, so I'm excited about that. They dropped that trailer. It's just, yeah, they're keeping it moving. Marvel is, and then guess what? In May, guess what's coming? Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness. People just we're all excited about it, and then Moon Knight comes. We're all excited about this. We hear about Thor 4. We're all excited about this, and then it's like, oh, Multiverse of Madness is coming. Oh my gosh!
Yep.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I almost can't wait till Multiverse of Madness. I am so looking forward to that.
Yeah, man. And we're gonna get all these nice, cool episodes up until then. It's just like, yeah. For me, I think we're like in the streaming services age right now, like our lifetime. Like I'm sure we all grew up in the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that. So we all know like what's been going on, and we just never had this. We had some of it, but now it's just like, this is like the perfect time. It's in its infancy stages, but Disney Plus, came out 2 years ago, Netflix 3 or 4 years ago, something like that. All these streaming services are relatively new, and look how much content they've been able to put out.
Right.
Paramount Plus, HBO Max, Apple TV, like it's just wonderful. All the different shows, The Boys on Amazon, like there is no limit. Like we just have. This is just an amazing time for people who love this stuff. Right?
And I think part of what we've been through the last few years with the shutdowns and all that really pushed this forward, probably faster than some of them wanted to. But now they're seeing the payoff. So they're going, wow, people really want material to watch. They really want all this stuff. So hey, it's good for us in the end. There's some great things going on.
Have to go to the theater. Yeah. Doesn't always have to go to the theater. So yeah, they can do a series and then eventually bring that character into a movie later on, and vice versa, pull characters in. And
it'll be interesting to see if Moon Knight shows up in an Avengers movie at some point.
I'm not thinking Avengers. I'm thinking something else.
Well, because I think my friend said that at one point he was an Avenger for a very short time in the comic books.
Yeah, in the comic books now, but I'm thinking something else. I think Carlo may know what I'm thinking. Go ahead.
What?
So some of the articles I read, right, and these are different takes from different writers and whatnot, reviewers, and they're saying that they saw a variant outfit on Moon Knight that looked like it could have been part of Scarlet Witch or part of Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
That would work. Yeah. I would actually like to see. I'd like to see him with Deadpool. Can you imagine some scenes with those two characters having a little back and forth?
Yeah. I'm thinking the dark side of the Marvel universe, the nightmarish side, like vampires and Blade, Egyptian goddess. And, all them. Ghost Rider.
Well,
yes.
There's just a game released on it. They're part of a Marvel team.
Yeah.
So
I really we need some more Ghost Riders, some properly done non-Nick Cage Ghost Rider. And
wow.
I want to say non-Nick Cage. Nick Cage, he did a good job.
He did okay.
I think it's just the way that the movie is.
But
it's not Marvel Studios. I think Marvel Studios took took the brand and put it on a whole nother level. And then when people go to movie theaters, where the movies were expected to get that same quality, and sometimes we just don't get it with the other studios producing the movies. And and it's and it's been evident in Morbius, right? That just came out. So,
Morbius is a wait for streaming for me, definitely. But it won't be with the Multiverse of Madness. I'll be all over that. Hey, if that's out there when we're in Orlando, Carlo, we need to take some time and go watch a movie.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad idea, right? I mean that's a good idea. But I was gonna say that yes, I'm in general after seeing Moonknight, I am excited for the future of Marvel Disney Plus. I think that this is showing us that there's a lot of potential in streaming services.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're just on this. We're gonna be on this joyride for a while, especially with the next stuff that they got coming. But Moonknight was awesome. Episode 1 was great. I love it. I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I don't care what anyone says. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Moonknight episode 1. Can they top it in episode 2? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Normally episode 2s are not as impactful as episode 1 because there's a little bit more storytelling that they do. So we'll see. I'm all for the storytelling in Marvel Studios because they do it right, and they hit all the levers that I look for in their movies and their shows.
Right.
So it's just it keeps you going. It's like, what? Who's that? What? Oh man, a little bit of action, crazy stuff. It's just man, and then you can't even. It sort of like puts this blinder on you where you gloss over some of the mistakes or some of the things that happen that some people are like calling out. They're like, "Oh, that sucked." Like, is it this? I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah,
I didn't even see that, right? So yeah. So that's my take on it. What do you guys got?
I gotta say, and I don't do this a lot, but yeah, I'd say it was darn near a perfect premiere because it kept you drawn in, it kept you interested, and it moved the story forward. And like you said, though, I would expect that maybe the next episode or the one after, it's going to slow down a little bit. It's got to, because they have to tell a story. It's not just, unlike a movie where they have 2.5, 3, or in the cases nowadays, 4 hours to tell a story, where this is a series where they can do it properly. So they don't have to rush anything. It's just a matter of, like you said, getting that mix right. The storytelling versus the action and moving the story forward. Hopefully they do that. And so far it looks like they're going to, because they managed in the first episode to mix it very well, to tell a story at the same time. It definitely moved forward the whole time, as you learn more and more and more, So yeah, hopefully things, I like you said, I would expect this next episode to slow down a little bit, where he goes, okay, now will somebody tell me what's going on now that nobody's trying to kill me for the next 2 minutes, So, yeah. And but real quick, I want to know, how did anybody explain what the heck happened in that bathroom at the museum the next day? Okay.
I guess we'll find out when he leaves. I don't think he can have a job there anymore.
Yeah.
So, Paul, number-wise, what would you say? 1 to 10. 10 being the highest.
Simply because I don't get called on it, I said no movie or game should probably ever be a 10. I'm going to say 9.5.
Okay. I mean, that's fair. Right?
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm, for me, and somebody who never really paid attention to Moonknight in the comics. Even I have a couple. I'm sorry, Moonknight fans. I have a couple. I just never read them, but I have them.
He just looked at the pictures. He just looked at the...
I'm going to say 10 out of 10 for me. This really drew me into the series. Writing, acting, filming, scenes, so perfect. I didn't see any mistakes in my mind on this. So I'm at a perfect 10 out of 10.
Nice. Episode 2, 2 days. So,
yep.
So, it's everybody watching. Marvel fans, Disney Plus fans, whatever it is that brought you here. Please leave a comment below. Let us know what you think. And Paris, where can people find you?
You can find me on the Twitterverse at PLock77. And you can also find me on Facebook at one of the largest Facebook groups on On Facebook, the Marvel Cinematic Universe group, we have over 500,000 members and growing. It's pretty fun community. Everybody likes to talk about everything, all Marvel, games, movies, TV shows, toys, anything Marvel. You can come in and join and have the fun. We're the only group that has over 500,000 members. So when you do a search for Marvel Cinematic Universe, you'll see us there. So come check us out. Come join the group. Have some fun. You can nerd out, or you can just read the comments and have fun with that. We do have people from Marvel and people from Disney, all of that stuff in the group. So it's fun. Actors, all that stuff. So come join in on the fun.
And Celebrity Pineapple Paul, where can we find you?
You can find me kicking your butt. You keep calling me pineapple. Anyway, you can find me at Twitter at CerebralPaul1, Twitch and YouTube at Cerebral Paul, on Xbox Cerebral Paul 921, and I am an Xbox ambassador. You can find me on their channel on Monday afternoons, Xbox Ambassadors, on the Twitch stream at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. GMT. See you there.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Well, everybody, you can always catch me in the Marvel Cinematic Facebook group that's run by Paris and a few other guys, which is fantastic. If you haven't visited it, please do so. And you can find me on 4GQ TV as well. And we're going to be doing Moonknight episode 2 soon as well. All right, see you guys later, and thank you for dropping by and watching.